Kraken fam. I am at the gates of this temple. It's not, it's just a beautiful house. There's a bit of a temple over here as well. It's a nice area. Anyway, parenting. So, you might be familiar with the term good enough parenting. It's from the 1950s. Dr. Willamicott, I don't know, I forgot. The idea was like it takes a little pressure off the idea of being a perfect parent, and new parents go through all kinds of mental and emotional upheaval and turmoil. Shout out to my new parents. Love you. I know you're doing it hard. Hope you get some sleep. In trying to get it perfect, it's almost impossible. And so this good enough parenting thing was kind of to take some of that load off the pressure to be absolutely perfect. And look, the bottom line is there's a bunch of different ways of doing it. Everyone is going to have a fucking opinion about it, and it's none of their fucking business because you're the one that has to cope. And honestly, I reckon whatever keeps you off the fucking bottle, like if they're on the iPad for like a little bit too long, but you don't want to kill yourself and you don't drink yourself stupid and you don't fucking do crack on the weekend, we got to manage that as well, right? And the incorrect way to manage it is codependently. You must know what that is by now, the amount that I fucking talk about it. So an example of codependently causing a problem with a newborn baby is if you're anxious that you're not doing perfect parenting and you go to check on them just that little bit too much. You're like, oh, what about the kid? And you go check on them and you wake them up, right? So it's, if you to just like manage your own anxiety, if we can just manage our own feelings, we don't need the other person, whether it's a baby or a partner or a friend, to make us feel better in the way that we manipulate and interact with them. Manipulate is a strong word, I realize, but to some degree we're always manipulating each other to feel better until we learn about self-care and we learn how to self-regulate. So if you're anxious about the kid and you poke your head around the corner, you're like, they're fine, they're asleep, it's fine. No need to go and fuck with the fucking blankets and, you know, and then they wake up and you go, oh, but you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're fixing it. So that reduces anxiety. Is this like, I have to do something to reduce anxiety. Probably just need sleep and water and healthy food, honestly. Like the amount of professionals that I've heard say that, like basics, man, like people think they've got this, they think they've got this, they've got this, they've got this. They drink water and they sleep and they eat vegetables and like the mental health problems vanish. They are starved to death by good health. We can do things like that. You could starve your rage to death by never indulging it until it becomes so small that it never rears its ugly head again and the resentment drains from your being, right? Anyway, everyone's gonna have a fucking opinion about how you parent. The boomers are like, you can't coddle children, control crying, children should be seen and not heard. Come on, we're late. And then it's, you just take your kids along to dinner and you give them some toys. Now it's screens or whatever. And you just have dinner with some other adults and you don't really care about what the kids are doing. Oh, they're a bit tired, we should go home. It's an excuse for you to leave. But the kids were just kind of an extension of the adult relationship, and we dress them how we want them to dress, you know. So your parents, if you're Gen X or Gen Y, are probably going to be like, oh, you're coddling him too much. What's this bloody child-centered parenting style? But we know from so much fucking data that everyone's got anxiety, everyone's got depression, particularly Gen X and 90s kids and that. We had incredible depression. Everyone was on drugs trying to rectify it because our parents were not emotionally attuned to us. They were not doing the, what's it called? No, empathic parenting anyway. I forgot, there's another word for it. They didn't care about what we were going through. They didn't care about the state. So they didn't help us to learn how to regulate our emotions. So we just took drugs and drank and punched each other in the face. That's what I did anyway. I was addicted to that. And girls, of course, at times. Yeah, so boomers are going to say that. The next one down, they'll probably say, it should be all about the feelings, right? It's all about the kids and like, I'm going to let them decide. And then you could end up with that like Eric Cartman thing where the mum like quits her job because the kid tells her to quit her job, and then they end up living in a hot dog stand, and you can be too child-centered as well, I think. And so, everyone's going to criticize wherever you're coming from, and it's always like somewhere in the middle. It's always going to be a delicate balance of trying something and probably going too far in that direction and then pulling it back and going too far in that direction and landing in the middle somewhere. But the point is, everyone else is wrong, and you got to figure out what works for you. And as long as you're not hitting them and screaming at them and too much, we all try our best not to yell, and we all do our best to keep ourselves calm enough that we don't have to yell. There are ways around that. There are ways of like explaining it to them well before it becomes a problem where you need to yell. And that's apparently the most effective parenting style. authoritative. Okay, authoritative. There was a girl I knew. We did the old clearing thing together. I was in one of the spiral, and she was very into authoritative parenting. And I said, it doesn't take a long time. Sometimes she's got like 4, 5-year-old girls, and she goes, sometimes it takes hours, like to give them a layer of concept that then the other concept goes on top of. Like, it could take hours to explain something to a child where they internalize it and they go, oh, that's why I shouldn't be loud in the restaurant. That's why. There's other people have minds, other people have feelings. They're trying to have a conversation, running around screaming, oh, okay, no, that's not, I get it now. It's not cool, right? And it's like back when we were kids, it was just bang, or it was just, and just cause fear, right? And now we've all got fucking mental health problems. So, plenty of ways to skin a cat. The research says that authoritative is the way, though, when it's compared to the other parenting styles. And like authoritarian, you can get instant compliance from frightening someone. But it's the same as going, give me a wallet or I'm going to stab you. It's okay. Instant compliance, all right? Is that what we want? For children to live in fear, and then the rest of their lives they're kind of anxious. And you know how it is when you've got anxiety, like you feel like you're being annoying, and they're like, no, you're not being annoying, and you are being annoying. It's a drainer. And being depressed, being the depressed one, it's like, you know, you don't want to invite people over because you're inviting them to a shit party. As our friend Jacqueline Mifsud said in her stand-up show, check on your depressed friends because they don't want to invite you over because it's no fun, you know, and they know it's no fun. Where's it going with this? Yeah, okay, so I've heard from sort of Eastern style parenting that hugging your kids because it makes them spoiled, right, is a remedy to laziness. So the less you hug your children, less affection towards children, then they do better academically, okay? 1 + 1 = 2. How do you weigh that up, though? That's up to you. Do I want them to feel loved and attended to, or do I want them to be, like, constantly working for my approval so that they get good marks? Up to you. If you're from a culture that expects the children to take care of the elderly, maybe them being happy is less important than them making a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? So the point I'm trying to make is there's plenty of ways to skin a cat. Authoritative parenting apparently works the best, explaining it to them, because yelling just causes fear and gives us all anxiety, and they might immediately comply, but every dictator has been murdered when their back was turned. People don't like an iron fist, and they will do anything to reclaim that power at some point. The dictator always gets murdered, all right? Or the parent becomes estranged. It's like, yeah, okay, thanks for like feeding us, but like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to see you ever again. You know what I mean? It's like, you might get them to shut up because they're embarrassing you, but then when you get old, they won't speak to you. Like, you got to weigh it up. Anyway, check it out. Authoritative parenting. And I understand the hypocrisy of talking about parenting when I don't have any kids. The reason I do this shit is because I'm a psych nerd, all right? I'm reading stuff that apparently is true. Maybe it is all a fucking Illuminati conspiracy to make us say this or that. I'm a big fan of psychology. I think it bridges the gap between science and spirituality, science and religion. That's why I make these videos, to try and relieve suffering and add some perspective to things. So I'm not fucking being holier than thou. I'm just trying to help, all right? So look it up, authoritative parent. Love ya. PM me with comments, questions, etc. Bye.